This is Scott Vanderplu, and you're listening to the Artist Edition Index podcast, episode 64.
I went down to the St. James Infirmary, found my baby there, stretched out on a long white table, so sweet, so cold, so fast.
I think last time I talked about taking Artist Edition out of it and just saying AE, so maybe this is the AE Index podcast, episode 64. But thinking about dropping the Artist Edition portion, and I think I've discussed this already, so bear with me if you've heard it. I apologize in advance. But I think that's why I get no press coverage from IDW, because they're concerned that their book is Artist Edition. I have Artist Edition in the title of my site. I'm not sure. Or I just don't have any sort of relationship with the IDW media relations people. I've reached out to them and contacted them. I've never heard back about anything. So I'd say, yeah, that's probably no relationship whatsoever. All right. Thanks for joining me once again, where we take the written, typed, online word of aeindex.org and I bring it to life in this podcast monthly. Lots happening this month. It's surprising. So until now, maybe until 2021, every publisher distributed through Diamond. I was able to use Diamond solicitations as a one-stop shop. Diamond put out the solicitations online on the last Friday of the month, and then it would appear in the print catalog on the last Wednesday of the month. That worked great for years as well. I could go to Diamond and they would list, we could see sales numbers. But since things have fragmented, we got Penguin Random House now. Got other distributors, I think. Lunar for DC and Graffiti Designs, but the Graffiti Designs has gone back to Diamond for much stuff, but that's, So basically, my one-stop shop where I was able to get print runs, order code, solicitations, images, all that stuff is gone. Now I've got to just deal with whatever I can. So this month is a perfect example of that, and I thought we'd get into solicitations first because, so this month I had... IDW had posted their new solicitations on Penguin, which not the same way that used to happen in Diamond. I guess I have to backtrack a bit. So Diamond, right, it was hard, they were close to print. They would appear in Diamond. With Penguin Random House on the site, Penguin Random House also has a solicitations catalog on prhcomics.com that sort of mimics what the Diamond previous catalog does. But on PRH Comics proper, the website, you just look and see, you can sort, and then you click on shipping now, and then you can see everything. So I checked that once a week, and I was on there, and I saw 3 books, and I posted this on March 9th. The 3 books were Bravo for Adventure, Artist Edition, new printing, from Alex Toth. I also saw the Best of EC Comics Artisan Edition, which is interesting because if you look at the cover they solicited, it's the Best of EC Stories Artisan Edition. So let me go back and say, so the Alex Toth Bravo for Adventure, I'll give you the blurb. Of every comic story Alex Toth ever drew, the only one that he kept the complete original art to was Bravo for Adventure. This artist edition is a virtual how-to course in drawing comics the Toth way. We see how he would draw all the detail in a scene only to black it out in order to focus the reader's eye on what really counted. Simplify, 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 he said. Also included are variant versions of the Bravo saga featuring Noah Chance and the experimental aircraft called Condor, plus dozens of never-before-seen roughs, preliminary drawings, and story fragments, as well as 12 pages of Toth's own coloring for an edition that never saw print, and, freed from storage after 40 years, all the coloring for what was intended to be Bravo's original 1975 first printing in France. This is being offered on September 27th, 2022. It's 12 by 17 inches. It's 136 pages and $125. This is a book that was produced in conjunction, which actually it was produced by Library of American Comics, with Scott Dumbier assisting. It came out a while ago. I reviewed it on the first print. It's a great book. It has gone out of print now, and the cover is slightly different. They have a graphic on the back, and then they have like an art page on the front, and they've shrunk that art page a bit now, so you can see more of the back graphic. That's the only way to tell first print from second print from what I've seen so far. So nice to see that back at print. If I was looking at maybe the top 10 artist editions that are out of print that are in demand, this wouldn't make the list. No way. So it's a really odd choice, especially since IDW and Library of American Comics have also sort of parted ways, and with IDW pursuing their new projects with Clover. So this is an odd choice, no question. All right, going to the Best of EC Stories Artisan Edition, or the Best of EC Comics Artisan Edition. Here's the blurb. The Best of EC Comics Artisan Edition collects 25 of the finest stories ever produced by the legendary comics company. Every page has been scanned from the original art in color. And while the art appears to be in black and white, if you look closely, you will notice that blue pencil notations, ink gradients, corrections, duo shade, and so much more is clearly visible. All the little nuances that make original art so beautiful and unique. Side note, maybe I should start saying duo shade instead of whatever else I'm saying when I say the paste-ons there. All right, keep that anyways. Continuing with the blurb. The stories in this volume truly represent the very best of what EC published. Wally Wood's My World, Al Williamson's Food for Thought, Alex Toth's Thunderjet, Joe Orlando's Judgment Day, Harvey Kurtzman's Corpse on the Imgen, Bernie Creekson's Master Race, Jack Davis's Foul Play, and so many more classics of the form. Truly the cream of the crop, the best of the best, and in the groundbreaking artist edition style, readers will be able to experience them as never before. So this is being offered on September 6th. It's 8 by 12 inches, soft cover, standard artisan edition format. It's $39.99, standard artisan edition price. So this is collecting stories from the Best of EC Artist Edition 1 and 2. Not all of them, just selecting, But it is 200 pages, so it's a good amount. So I think that should get you 3/4 of both of the artist editions. That's pretty good. Then the third solicitation, No Image. Dan DeCarlo's Archie and Friends Artist Edition. Dan DeCarlo was the preeminent artist of Archie from the 1950s to the 1990s, and while DeCarlo was not the first to illustrate America's favorite teenager, he is certainly the artist most associated with him. This book, like all artist editions, will present DeCarlo's work that has never been printed before, with each page scanned from the original artwork and presented in the actual size it was drawn. And while the art appears to be in black and white, each image is actually shot in color, allowing the reader to see all the subtle nuances and details that make original art so special. Gradients in the inks, corrections, blue pencil notations, and so much more. This book will be crammed full of complete stories, covers, and pinups for what many consider to be DeCarlo's finest period, the mid-1960s to early 80s. And while there will be lots of Betty and Veronica, we've also managed to track down some gorgeous examples of Josie and Sabrina as well. If you're a fan of Archie and Dan DeCarlo, then this is the book for you. The only way to better view these rare gems is if you are looking over Dan DeCarlo's shoulder as he toiled at the drawing board. This release October 11th. No dimensions provided, 160 pages, $150. Shortly, a few days after this solicitation went up, it was removed. The page on PRH Comics is gone, and I did not have the forethought to add it to the Wayback Machine. Normally after about a month or something, I add this kind of stuff to the Wayback Machine, because then when I go back and reference it, it's always available. Especially like when I do when I did that 10-year coverage piece for artist editions. I'm doing another 10-year coverage piece for portfolios this year. I'll do another one for artifact editions when that 10-year comes up. So Wayback Machine is awesome for that. And so it's disappointing I missed that page. I'm assuming this will be solicited later. And I had to then put up on March 26th more March 2022 IDW solicitations, because Scott Dunbier posted on social media Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man Artist Edition. He put up the image, and then I was able to get the info from the PRH Comics website, and then IDW has really been promoting this because they've also released press releases and some other things. So all that's available on the site. Let me give you the blurb. Todd McFarlane's gorgeous work on Spider-Man was nothing less than groundbreaking. His intense version of the web-slinging wall crawler took the character to new heights, instilling in the character a sense of energy and vitality rarely seen before. First, in The Amazing Spider-Man, written by David Michelini, and then in a spin-off series with both story and art by McFarlane. McFarlane took each character and made them his own. Classic villains like the Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, Sandman, the Vulture, the Lizard, plus his classic interpretations of some of Marvel's greatest heroes, the Incredible Hulk and Wolverine. And let's not forget his alluring Mary Jane. McFarlane was also the co-creator of one of the most infamous new characters in years, the villainous Venom. A number of pages featuring this iconic character are presented within these pages. And while an artist's edition appears to be in black and white, each page in this volume has been painstakingly scanned from McFarlane's hand-drawn art, allowing the reader to experience the artist's originals as never before, seeing for the first time all the subtle nuances that make original art so unique and special. Blue pencils, ink gradients, corrections, all are completely visible. The only way to better experience these pages would be if you were in McFarlane's studio as he was drawing them. I've heard that line before. And while there are no complete stories presented in this book, there are many examples of Mcfarlane's classic storytelling, filled with kinetic energy and those webs. This is being released on September 20th. It's 14 inches by 21 inches. So not quite twice up, because twice up books are 15 by 22. So that's interesting. We'll have to see what happens there. It's 192 pages, $150. So then the press release went on to provide a little more information. It says, this artist edition will include nearly 100 pages of interior art selected from 24 issues of his consequential The Amazing Spider-Man run, almost 60 pages from his record-setting Spider-Man series, and 25 covers spanning such titles as The Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Marvel Age, Marvel Tales, and more. So, interesting that we get a little bit more extra information. And the press release says it's available September 21st, which is a Tuesday, 22nd is a Wednesday. PRH always lists Tuesdays, so that was kind of interesting. All right. I've seen 2 covers for this already. I've seen the cover that on all the press releases and online and what I have, and then I've seen a very small cover of a different cover that I think was going to be the cover but then got changed. So I'd expect to see a variant cover for this. Scott Dunbar has said on social media that Todd McFarlane will not be doing any signed versions of this. So at best, you're going to see a cover and a variant. I would say you're probably going to see a variant since this book's going to be very popular. And then maybe we'll see if somebody else wants to do their own version. Maybe we'll see Fan Expo doing their own version of this like they did with the Jim Lee X-Men. All right, that's that blurb. Wow, a lot of blurbs and solicitations. I actually have 2 more solicitations this month. So on March 9th, I was on the Dupuis website, and they have put the next version, the second in their Artiste Edition line, and that is Natasha Dupuis Artiste Edition. With Natasha, the air hostess, Francois Walthery and Goss created the first heroine of popular Franco-Belgian comics. The birth of this beauty is due as much to chance as to the talent of 2 authors, then almost unknown. Natasha et la Maharaja, the next album shakes up the codes even more. Walthery develops a graphic style that will influence generations of designers. The secret of the Goss-Walthery duo? Audacity, experience, a small part recklessness, a hint of luck, great friendship, and above all, a lot of work. For the first time, the original boards of these 2 founding albums of the legend Natasha are reproduced in facsimile in the original format. This Dupuis Artiste Edition appears on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of Natasha and the Maharaja. Interesting. So this is coming out May 20th. It's 120 pages. It's 199 euros, and it's 14.5 inches by 20 inches, or 374 millimeters by 513 millimeters. You can pre-order on Amazon. I'm waiting to get it from the 9E store because they have a deal on shipping. But because this book will come in its own box, you don't really have to fear Amazon shipping from this, because Amazon will take this book that comes in a box, put it in another box, probably no padding, and ship it to you. So I think you're good to go with Amazon if you want to pre-order this. So that is very exciting. I love the Gilles Jourdain of the first Artiste edition. I do review 2 books in the Dupuis Premier edition this month, which we'll talk about later, and those had a much less price point. So I'm wondering, these books, the North American books are between $150 and $200 now, and I noticed the European books are pretty well coming out now at 199 euros, which I think is about $240 US, 300 Canadian. So one more solicitation this month, and I got this from a press release from 2000 AD Rebellion. If somebody's in the know, if somebody listens to this podcast and works at Rebellion or 2000 AD, I never know what to say. Like, it says 2000 AD on the spine, but Rebellion seems to be the company. I can't sort that out. Somebody help me out. Should I be putting 2000 AD/Rebellion? Should I just be putting 2000 AD? Inquiring minds want to know. Email me at scott@aeindex.org, please. All right, this is the Judge Dredd by Mike McMahon Apex Edition, the 3rd Apex Edition from 2000 AD. Right, we got some great stuff. We're still waiting for the Brian Boland, and then this will be the 2nd one for 2022. All right. From the first published Judge Dredd story to his iconic work on serials such as The Cursed Earth and The Judge Child, McMahon's constantly evolving style has helped make him one of the greatest Dredd artists of all time. Famed for his Famed for his big boots, design, and vivid imagination, McMahon's work helped define Dredd's world and won him legions of fans. Featuring high-resolution scans of original artwork, the Apex Edition is a deluxe, oversized facsimile edition that reproduces McMahon's original art pages at their actual size. From his dynamic early work influenced by Dread co-creator Carlos Sierra to his later utterly unique style, this Apex edition showcases the evolution of his career in unprecedented detail and demonstrates how McMahon came to influence generations of comic book artists. Complete stories such as Judge Whitey, Frankenstein 2, The Wreath Murders, and Dream Palace are published alongside pages from The Cursed Earth, The Day Law Died, The Judge Child, and The Fink. As well as his brush and penwork, the reproduced pages include original titles and word balloons. Additionally, our aim is to release the title on 26th of October 2022, but please be aware that due to the ongoing challenges with paper shortages and disruption to global shipping, we may be required to adjust that date. At all times, our priority is to deliver your order on time, but we will communicate any changes to you. The standard edition is available to pre-order from the 2080 web shop and will also be available for comic book stores to order through Diamond Distribution's Previews magazine this summer. The limited edition slipcase is available to order only through the 2080 web shop. So, this book, October 26th, it's 481 millimeters by 371 millimeters. There's no page count. It's 105 US. 2080 is hitting it out of the park with the price on these books. Especially the Bolin one is 100. This one's 105. I'm assuming they're just adjusting that from the pound to the US dollar because the pound is taking a beating lately. So, yeah, that Zenith Phase 1 Apex Edition, I really enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to the Boland. I think we got exciting things coming for sure. Another great book. It comes with this, it's a lot more money for the slipcase version here. Let me click on the link here. It's $200, $196.99. So say so $91 more, and you get a slipcase and a signed page. So that's double for the slipcase. I like slipcases, but that's a lot of money. I of course will go with the standard edition. All right, that's the solicitations this month. Let's talk about shipping changes. Mike Mignola's Hellboy and Hell and Other Stories Artisan Edition has slipped to May 11th. Gil Kane's Amazing Spider-Man Artisan Edition has moved to July 26th from July 12th, and then it moved to the 19th and the 26th. This hasn't been solicited through Diamond or anybody yet, and it probably won't be now. But it popped up on PRH Comics, so I've been tracking it. The other change is the Judge Dredd by Brian Bolin Apex Edition is now September 7th. So, exciting stuff there. I should go back and mention, since I glossed over it, in that solicitation for the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man Artist Edition, I did heavily emphasize that it contains no complete stories. So previously, Artist Editions contain complete stories. Artifact Editions contain pages without complete stories. So this is definitely something that's going on. I have a Q&A scheduled with Scott Dunbier. I've sent him the questions. I'm waiting for his responses. I should be able to post that this month, I'm hoping. And that was one of my questions. So wait for that, inquiring minds, and we should get answers direct from the source for that. All right, let's move on to the poll this month. I am recording this a day late and a buck short. Just could not record it yesterday. Occasionally, I do have to record the podcast the first day of the month as opposed to the last day. It just depends on my work schedule, really. And then last night, I just couldn't get it done after work, so that's how it goes. All right, the poll, courtesy of David Jacoy, who provides the awesome poll subject and links to the art for me, came up with war on everyone's mind. Let's take a look at some of the most amazing artists who delved into war comics. All of them deserve an AE format, but who among them deserves it the most? Yes, we have a lot of AE readers and followers of the site in Europe, and we certainly keep our hopes and prayers with them that the conflict can end soon. All right. This was interesting. Jorge Zafino led this month. He was quite strong. Some amazing work on Winterworld and Waterworld, and some other. He's just an amazing artist that I'd love to see an artist edition of. But he came in second this month. Joe Kubert, who is DC War Comics really. He led the vote. 31 votes. Jorge Zafino 25. Michael Golden for the Nom 21 votes. Dave Gibbons for Martha Washington 12 votes. Dick Ayers for Sergeant Fury 4 votes. So interesting. I would like to see pretty well any of these. This is great stuff. Those sample pages just blew me away. But I love Jorge Zafino. I just love Jorge Zafino. Or his son. I just like artist edition of any of the Zafinos at this point. All right, let's talk out of print sales. Another sales month where things got weaker. I don't know. I think that, like I said previously, the heyday there Should have sold all my extras last spring, but what can you do? All right, let's talk sales this month. These are books that sold on eBay in February. Alien, the Illustrated Story, Original Art Edition. 1 copy sold for $118.41. 5 copies of Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller Gallery Edition, sold for an average of $201.19, so above cover there. 2 copies of Bernie Wright's and Artifact Edition First Print sold for $231.99 average. 3 copies of the second print sold for an average of $224.99. Best of EC Comics Volume 1 sold 2 copies, an average of $231.99. 1 copy of Volume 2 sold for $239.99. 1 copy of Bill Sienkiewicz's Mutants and Moon Knights and Assassins Artifact Edition sold for $300. 1 copy of Dave Cockrum's X-Men Artifact Edition sold for $119.99. 1 copy of Dave Gibbons' Watchmen Artifact Edition sold for $167.50. 1 copy of Dave Stevens' Rocketeer Artist Edition second print sold for $128.50. No first prints. I'd expect these sales maybe to go down since we've heard that the 40th anniversary printing is going to be out in April. And includes the 2 missing pages from that first printing, or second printing, right? So the only thing I think people are still buying, maybe the second print for, is that the variant Betty cover. All right, David Mazzucchelli's Daredevil Born Again Artist Edition sold 3 copies, an average of $345. 2 copies of Don Rose's The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck, Volume 1, sold for an average of $209.99. Consistent market seller there. That book has really been picking up. There's a book I'd like to see volumes 2 and 3 or 4 of, whatever volumes are required to complete The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck, since Fantagraphics released that $250 oversized hardcover, and it seems to have sold like hotcakes. So I think there's a market for these artist editions. If anybody's listening, Scott Dunbeer. All right, 1 copy of Fantagraphics Studio Edition, Hal Foster's Prince Valiant, sold for $80. 3 copies of Frank Miller's Daredevil Artifact Edition sold for an average of $173.33. 1 copy of Frank Miller's Sin City, The Hard Goodbye Curators Collection, sold for $125. Oh, how we miss you, Curators Collections. 1 copy of Gene Colan's Tomb of Dracula Artist Edition sold for $175. 1 copy of Gil Kane's Amazing Spider-Man Artist Edition sold for $175. Here's a book that sold for months, like $60 copies. And then the last few months, boom. No, yeah, it's really gone up the last year. All right, 2 copies of Jack Davis's EC Stories Artist Edition sold for an average of $201.62. 1 copy of Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four, The World's Greatest Artist Edition, sold for $499.95. I can't get that. This book of language. It's the Twice Up. It's my favorite of the Fantastic Four books. But it's sold undercover for months and months, and then boom, here's the really odd duck with this massive cover price. Massive payout for this book. All right, 1 copy of Jack Kirby's The Mighty Thor Artist Edition sold for $219.99. 1 copy of Jim Lee DC Legends Artifact Edition sold for $94.95. Bargain there. 1 copy of Joe Kubert's Tarzan of the Apes Artist Edition sold for $117.95. The other 2 didn't sell any. Man, these books are amazing. I recommend everybody who likes comic art to pick up the 3 Joe Kubert Tarzans. All right, John Buscema's Silver Surfer Artist Edition. 1 copy sold for $169.95. And we saw the Artisan Edition released this week. So if you don't want to pay back issue prices there for that, get the Artisan Edition. All right. 2 copies of John Byrne's Fantastic Four Artist Edition sold for an average of $147.50. 2 copies of John Byrne's Marvel Classics Artifact Edition sold for an average of $175. 2 copies of John Byrne's X-Men Artifact Edition sold for an average of $357.50. Eesh. 2 copies of John Romita's Amazing Spider-Man Artist Edition sold for an average of $287.50. 1 copy of John Romita's Amazing Spider-Man Artist Edition Volume 2 sold for $125. 2 copies of Lone Wolf and Cub Gallery Edition sold for an average of $202.95. That's a double cover. 1 copy of Mad Artist Edition sold for $219.99. Man, I got 2 of those on the store for less than that, and I got no interest. I don't know what's going on there. 1 copy of Marvel Covers Artist Edition sold for $134.20. 1 copy of Mike Mignola's Hellboy and Hound and Other Stories Artist Edition first print sold for $75. There's a market blip. I wonder, did he have a spelling mistake or something in the listing? Because that's cheap. 2 copies of the second print sold for an average of $259.99. I mean, somebody figured that out and let me know. 1 copy of Ross Andrews' The Amazing Spider-Man Artist Edition sold for $199.95. Again, another book that just languished on eBay, $60 copies, months and months and months, and now it's really been picking up steam. 1 copy of Sam Keith's The Max Artist Edition, $200. 1 copy of Sergio Aragona's Grew the Wanderer Artist Edition, $175. 1 copy of Spawn Vault Edition, $355. 2 copies of Spawn Vault Edition 2, averaging $206, so that's come down quite a bit. 1 copy of Star Wars Artifact Edition, $109.99. 1 copy of Stranko Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. first print, $296.02. 1 copy of the Book of Ballads Original Art Edition, $84.64. Interesting, that's up. 2 copies of Wally Wood's EC Stories Artist Edition, first print, $3.99.99 average. 1 copy, the second print for $2.50. 1 copy of Walt Simonson's Manhunter and Other Stories, $81, bargain. 1 copy of Will Eisner's The Spirit Artist Edition, $169.99. So, we're seeing some lower prices. We're seeing some higher prices, I guess. Now, let's talk about price records. I saw 4 changes this month. If I see a price sell for the same price as my previous record price, I will update that with the new date because I like to keep it as current, right? Let people know what's out there. So 4 records this month. February 10th saw Jack Davis's EC Stories Artist Edition signed copy go for $469.95. We previously discussed Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four: The World's Greatest Artist Edition selling for $499.95. Michael Golden's Micronauts Artist Edition signed version, it went for $399.99. Mike Mignola's Hellboy and Howler and Other Stories Artist Edition remarked sold for $9.99. So nobody's hitting the previous records of $1,800 for Romita's Amazing Spider-Man edition remarked. But some things are getting up there. All right. Now this is the time in Dieter's Dance Party where we dance. And I should mention how you can support the Artist Edition Index. 3 ways. Become a Patreon patron. It's $1 or whatever you'd like to contribute. You can contribute $2, $5, $10, whatever you like. $1.82 depends on your up to you. That's a monthly charge, and I appreciate that greatly. The second way to support me, and this supports you as well, or helps you as well, is to use the links, the affiliate links, Amazon links, Things from Another World. Those get me a small percentage back when you buy a book, and I greatly appreciate that. That is great. That and through eBay, that's my biggest one actually. That's actually how the site brings in money. Affiliate links mostly. And then the third way is to go to the store and buy a book. I've lowered some prices this month in some books. I mean, I try to keep it current with what's on eBay. Most of the books I have put up now are cover price. A couple things are above cover. That's the Mad Artist Edition. Actually, no, I dropped Mad Artist Edition to cover price. Mike Mignola's The Amazing Screw-On Head and Other Curious Objects Artist Edition is above cover, as is Usagi Jimbo's Samurai and Other Stories Gallery Edition. So I got a couple things above cover, a bunch of things on cover. I ship it to U.S. addresses media mail, so it's pretty cheap. So if you'd like to support us, you can also go to the website. And I want to say, ask me anything about Artist Editions. The email address, again, is scott@aeindex.org. I love to get questions. I love to look through my stuff and provide answers. I like to keep people happy, keep people interested. It's interesting discussing, keeping people interested because I do post flip throughs on eBay, on YouTube. So I've got over 100 subscribers now. Not a big number, but I'm thankful for everybody who subscribes. I flip through the books. I post the podcast there as well. So if you like YouTube, then definitely do that. At this point, I'm not going to be doing any full video reviews. I like to flip throughs, and I like to still do the reviews on the website. So I've got 2 reviews this month, both French books, both from the Dupuis Première Edition line, which is a really nice. So they're about 16.5 by 12 inches. I don't know, for some reason in France they do the length first, then width, and I don't know why in North America we do width and length first. I don't know. But the first one is Lucky Luke, Phil Deffer, or in English it's Phil Wire. And that's 16.5 inches by 11.75 inches, 56 pages. It was €99 and it came out in January 2016. So this is, let me give you the blurb. This 8th album in the Lucky Luke series, released in 1956, is a story with a harder, more cynical and violent tone than the others. Death is suggested there many times, even though censorship formally forbids it since the French law of July 16, 1949, on works intended for young people. The consequences are not long in coming. For the first time, a story of Lucky Luke is not published in the newspaper Spirou because it is considered too violent. It was then published in Le Moustique, a magazine published by Dupuis intended for an older family audience. Interesting. So this is, all intents and purposes, right? This is an AE format book. It's hand numbered of 3,000 editions. And this is a bit different than anything else I've got from Dupuis. So I like the format. It got the cloth spine, nice production values, except 2 things. The artwork is a bit gray, so I'm not sure why the art pages have turned gray as opposed to aging some other way. So to go with that, they sort of did a grayish paper, which sort of threw me off. I'd much rather see white borders, but I think they're trying to blend in with the art. So they went with these gray paper. And the other thing is, when I open the book fully, the first couple pages, I get this big bend in the center. And if you look on the review or you look on the video flip through, you'll see this bend. And then it sort of occurs at the end as well. So I'm thinking my copy had a binding issue. Not really something I'd return a book to France. I'm just annoyed with it. Also, I don't read my books flat generally. I always keep them bent slightly. It's from the old comic collector, in me. And I mostly read on my lap, so I cross a leg, I put the book up, I keep it slightly bent. So I didn't even notice this until I did the flip through. I'm like, what? I'm trying to flatten the pages, right? So it looks good. And then there we go. Horror has struck. But nice presentation. Really, actually, an excellent book. And I really like these premiere editions. Like I said, we're going to talk about another one in a minute. But Morris did the everything in this book of the original artwork, 56 pages. There's 2 stories. You get Le Fauchot and Pilule. And lots of correction fluid, and not really lots, but you get the correction fluid, you get some notes. You see that the artwork is, like for Spirou magazine, a lot of the art was in 2 pieces, and they tape it together for 1 piece, and then it appears in the book, and it would appear in the album as the 1 piece, and then that's how they present it in this. I like the extras in this book. I think they're really well done. They talk about Jack Palance, who was obviously the inspiration for the character of Phil Wire. They talk about the American influence of comedic westerns on Morris. It's just really great material. This excellent book, great size, good price. I mean, €100, 99 euros for 56 pages is a bit light, but it's a really great presentation. All right, the second book in this line, and from what I can find, this was the first one, released in October 2015, is Michel Vaillant, Le Pilote sans visage, première edition. Première edition. All right, we got Michel Vaillant is about to race during the Monaco F1 Grand Prix aboard a Vaillant. We discover that a mysterious driver is testing on the Francorchamps circuit. Nobody saw his face, which he needs the name of the driver without a face. But what is certain is that his car is the fastest on the circuit, black and white, large format edition. All right, this is, again, 11 3/4 inches by 16.5 inches. This is 80 pages, 99 euros again. Nice cloth spine, excellent production values. Actually, I like these production values a little bit better. The extras are really great. Some photos of the creator. I'm drawing a blank here. Hold on. Jean Graton. I don't know how I forgot that. So yeah, just really nice presentation. This is hand numbered out of 1,000. The artwork presents. Wow, I mean, Jean Graton, this guy worked clean. You got a bit of white out. I mean, we see a little bit of pencil, but it's a bit disappointing actually for the AE format book like this because it's just so clean. It's funny, when I saw this book, I spent some time in a French country in Africa when I was a teenager, and I would go to the bookstore, and I didn't read French, and I would see albums. And this screams to me, bande dessinée, this style of artwork. It's very naturalistic, tries to get every detail accurate. It's lots of detail, full panels, but it's a bit stiff, right? It's not quite alive and dynamic as the Marvel artwork that when I grew up on. But this is a really great book. For some reason, the retail image doesn't show the red cloth spine very much. So as always, I got a picture of the book at the bottom of the review, and you can see it's a nice cloth spine. Same layout as the Phil Deffer Premiere Edition. I would have so liked to see this continue because for this 99 price range, an album or 56 pages, 80 pages, it's great because now, I mean, unfortunately, from Dupuis, we're paying 200 euros for 120 pages. So not quite. I guess that's inflation, right? A really nice book, though. These are great. These are readily available. You can order them from Amazon. They come shrink-wrapped, no box. So you may want to be a bit careful with these, but so nice. I think that wraps it up for me this month. I've been covering a lot of French stuff lately because, for the simple reason that there's no English stuff coming out. And I've got a right? I've got this whole French market in Belgium, band dessinée, AE format books that I can explore. So it's pretty exciting. I'm still ordering. I got a ton of books still to order. I'm sorry, I have a ton of books, yes, to order, but I have a ton of books at home. Well, a ton, 30, I don't know, 40 that I'm waiting to review. I only do 2 a month. I've got other things going on. So 2 seems like a good number. I'm wondering if I'm going to maybe throw some English ones in for April, mix it up a bit, and then go back to French the next month. We'll see how it goes. But thank you for joining me this month in this podcast. Subscribe on YouTube, like on YouTube, please. Follow me wherever podcasts are. And please go to the website and read the reviews that I talk about. I talk about it. I give you my insights, but that only complements what I've written on the website. All right, thanks. We'll talk again next month.
Let her go, God bless her. Wherever she may be, she can search this wide world over. She'll never find a sweet man like me.